Hills presents Intellivision, intelligent television by Mattel. More sophisticated than any video game that has come before, providing hours of entertainment for the entire family. Intellivision, with one of the clearest game displays available today. Find this system, plus a complete line of sports and video game cassettes at Hills, where our game is low prices every day.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Classic Gamer 74. I am your host, Anthony Gamer, and I am Humphrey the Wolf. Today we're going to start our unit on the Intellivision as we will discuss games that were exclusive to the Intellivision. In a previous episode done, when was it? Quite a while ago. I believe about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years ago, in the early stages of this channel. Oh, yes. You made an episode about games that were exclusive for the Intellivision. Yep. And in that episode, I discussed games that were not only ones made by Mattel, but mostly games that were made by third-party gaming systems. Yes, as it is not common for third-party game companies like Imagic especially to make games exclusively for one game system in particular and not put it out on others. Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about today, are some of those games that were made for the Intellivision, but were not made for other game systems. Although one almost was. Really, which one was that? Well, we'll just have to look and find out. Before we get started, I want to say a great big hello to all our new subscribers. It's great to have you guys be a part of the Classic Gamer 74 family. And of course, a big hello to my long-term subscribers who've been with me for quite a while, some since the very beginning. So if you enjoy these videos, please don't forget to like if you like them and share with friends and family. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I really appreciate all the new people that have been viewing this channel, participating in discussions, not only in the comment section on social media, but also in some of the forums that I post in, especially AtariAge.com, where I've met some amazing people. So thank you for your continued support. I really appreciate it. So for just a quick little bit of background about the Intellivision itself, it was actually released by Mattel Electronics in 1979. The name itself, Intellivision, actually is a play on words, and it means intelligent television. And let's face it, what's that? Well, there's not a lot of intelligent television on anymore these days. That's true. But anyway, continuing, over the course of its life, which ran from 1979 to officially 1990, there were 125 released games. Of course, there were prototypes, as there are prototypes for every game system ever been made, including the ones that are currently around. And there were some demos and other cool things like that, which we will discuss in this unit, like we do with many other of the game systems that I discuss. We'll have episodes about rare and valuable games, the prototypes, different types of subgenre of games, all kinds of stuff. As to be honest with you, back in the day, I only played the Intellivision one time, and that was in 1982 at Christmas time. Because the only person I knew that had one was my Uncle Eric, my mom's brother, and it wouldn't be for many years later that I would get to play it again. And to be honest with you, since I've started this channel, I have fallen in love with this game system. The games on here are second to none, especially the sports games, but there are some games for this system that wouldn't have worked on any other game system before or since. So, that's enough yakking for now. Yes, your wife has been saying that you talk too much before you get started. And that's true. So, without further ado, let's get into the games. Are you ready? Oh, I was ready a few minutes ago. That's why I reminded you that your wife says you talk too much. Okay, well, without further ado, let's get into the games.
And our first game for today, like many of the others on today's list, was brought to us from the third-party game company Imagic. And this game is from 1983 and it's called Ice Trek. In this game, you take on the role of Valley the Viking, and you're trying to rescue Aurora Borealis from the castle of King Catherine. Now, what you have to do in the first part is you go through this forest, try not to get trampled by the caribou, and be careful not to shoot at the caribou or the wildlife goddess will shoot you. The second part, you have to form a bridge with these icebergs that come past, which is a royal pain. And the last part, you have to get to the castle and melt it and avoid getting killed by falling stuff. Overall, it's a very fun game. I like the fact that it's got such amazing graphics and 3 separate screens. What I liked about it is the fact that you can play this game over and over again, and you may be able to beat it one time, but you're not going to be able to beat it a second time. So this game has really high replayability. And our next game is Swords and Serpents, also from Magic from 1982. In this game, you take on the role of either a knight or a wizard, and you are going through these deep caverns, many of them extremely dangerous, to find treasure and all kinds of other cool stuff. A lot of people have said it reminds them of Gauntlet. Yes and no. It doesn't have as many monsters coming at you. Yes, like in Gauntlet, they just keep coming, by the hundreds. Right. Now, I've seen this a couple times where they've actually just keep coming, but nowhere near like in Gauntlet. But, yeah, it does kind of remind me of it a little bit. And like Gauntlet, this game is hours and hours of fun. So, if you have not tried this game and you enjoyed the AD&D games, and, like I said, Gauntlet, you will enjoy this one. And next we have one of my personal favorite Intellivision games, Thin Ice. This was released in 1986 by Intellivision Corporation. In this game you take on the role of Duncan Penguin. Now Duncan has been bullied for years by the other penguins, and also by the seal and by this polar bear. And Duncan likes to go out ice skating on thin ice. So to get back at these bullies, he tries to dunk them. All you have to do is skate a square around them and they fall right into the drink. Sound pretty easy? Well, not as easy as you think. The seals like to go back behind you and cover up your lines, and if they catch you, they'll bob you on your nose and knock you off screen. And if the polar bear catches you, he'll just smack you off the screen. You have little trays of shrimp to help you out, and you have a power to freeze. Calling this game fun for the whole family is definitely the understatement. It is just a whole lot of fun. It has a lot of replayability. The other night I was playing this game for hours on end, and I just had a blast. And you will too. And our next game we have is the sequel to Beauty and the Beast, and this is Tropical Trouble from 1983 by Magic. In this game, you and your girlfriend are on a tropical vacation when a beach bully decides to snatch her away from you. So he grabs her and runs off, and you have to go rescue her. There are 3 separate screens in this, and your girlfriend will drop handkerchiefs to give you power. You are dodging coconuts, rocks, and fire from the volcano in order to rescue her. I really enjoyed this game, as I enjoy the damsel in distress games, I guess you could say. Oh yeah, I watched you play Donkey Kong for like hours on end. Oh yes. So this game was right up my alley, and probably will be up yours as well. You know, that didn't sound right. What? When you said up yours. I hadn't thought of that. That was funny. No, it wasn't. And next up, we have a game I just had to include. I really enjoyed it. Played it many times when I went to my grandma and grandpa's in Minnesota back in 1982. And this is Armor Battle. This was released in 1979 by Mattel Electronics. This is a war game, of course. You are fighting with tanks. Some people have called this a hyped up version of combat, as it is a two-player only game, and you are just basically trying to blast each other. The changing terrain, the buildings, and everything about it is just amazing, and it's really hard to believe that this game came out so early in the life of the Intellivision, and they had a leg up on their competition with just this game. And our final game for today is Locomotion from 1983 by Mattel. In this game, you are trying to pick up the passengers and keep them happy. You use it's like a sliding tile game, and you are trying to not crash the train, pick up the passengers before they get angry, and try not to crash into other trains. Really fun and challenging game, and one that is a definite standout on a system that already has several great games.
Locomotion has to be one of my favorite games for the Intellivision, as it's just really an addicting game. Even though I'm not really good at it, I'm really not good at sliding puzzle games, period. Fun fact, this game was almost released for the Atari 2600 under their M Network games. Really? Oh yeah, let's learn a little bit more about that right now.
As many of you probably know, Mattel would release games for the Atari 2600 under the label M Network. A lot of these games had been made for the Intellivision. Sometimes they kept the original title, sometimes they didn't. One of those games that they had planned on releasing under the M Network label was Locomotion. What you're looking at are some screenshots courtesy of AtariProtos.com. As you can see, it does follow the same format pretty much like the regular Intellivision game did. They used more boxy type graphics, as you didn't have like the little smiley and sad faces representing the patrons that are sitting at the station waiting for you to come pick them up. And the tracks themselves, well, they seem like they don't exactly have that same kind of, I guess, cartoon realism to them that you saw on the Intellivision version. But just like in the Intellivision version, you have that wild train. I think that's what that's supposed to be, the white thing there. So overall, it was the same game. All right, the big question, why wasn't it released? Nobody really knows. It may have had something to do with the video game crash of 83 and 84, although M Network did still make games up until that point. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, they continued to make Intellivision games into the 90s and then later beyond. So as to why is really kind of hard to say. Why this game has not been dumped and made readily available to the public, according to Tempest, it's copyright issues. So hopefully someday the programmers of this game, or whoever holds the copyright, will allow the ROM to be released so that everyone can enjoy it. In our next episode, we're going to look at games based on the band Kiss.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Classic Gamer 74. I really hope you all enjoyed it and found this episode entertaining as well as informative. If you did, give me a great big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. What are you doing? I'm still trying to find it. Also, don't forget to visit me on my various social media platforms, hang out with me in the Atari Age forums, and don't forget to leave some suggestions for games or genre of games or anything else you'd like to suggest in the comment section below. I'm always happy to hear what you have to say. Well, until next time, I am Anthony Gamer, and I am Humphrey the Wolf, and we will see you all in the next episode. Till next time, be strong, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and above all, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and stop hate of all kinds. See you guys soon. Bye. Bye, everyone.